Hello, friends. Welcome back to English Unleashed. Today, I want to discuss a fascinating book that explores the mysteries of the human mind. The book is written by Steven Pinker, a renowned psychologist and linguist, and it's called How the Mind Works. This book addresses a question that has intrigued humanity for centuries. How does the human mind operate? Although this question is old, it remains incredibly relevant today, as understanding our own minds can help us live better and communicate more effectively. The original book is quite complex and difficult to read for many people. It's filled with technical terms and deep explanations. That's why in this episode, I've taken a different approach. I've simplified the ideas using easy-to-understand language. I've removed complicated words and complex concepts so everyone can follow along without feeling overwhelmed. This isn't just about improving your English skills, it's also about learning more about yourself. As you listen, you will not only practice speaking and comprehension, but also start to think about how your own mind works, how you feel, remember, make decisions, and solve problems. We'll begin our journey by exploring what the mind actually is and why it exists. One key idea Pinker presents from the start is that the mind is not a mysterious or empty thing. Instead, it is a practical tool, something the brain creates to help us navigate life. The brain itself is a physical object inside your head, made up of cells that send signals to each other. But the mind is different from the brain. The mind is the activity or the process that the brain produces, how we think, feel, remember, imagine, and decide. When you experience emotions like happiness or fear, that's your brain actively doing its work. All these mental activities, thinking, feeling, remembering, imagining, are what Pinker calls the mind. It's important to understand that the mind did not come about by accident. It evolved over millions of years, shaped by the needs of life on Earth. The theory Pinker explains is called evolution, which means gradual change over time. Living things change because they need to survive. They need food, safety, and the ability to have children. Human beings developed complex mental abilities that helped our ancestors do these things better. In ancient times, humans faced many dangers. They needed to find food, avoid predators, and work together. The mind developed to help solve these problems. Think of the mind as a toolbox filled with many different tools. Inside this toolbox are tools for seeing, hearing, understanding language, feeling emotions like fear and love, and even recognizing faces. Many of these tools are not learned from scratch, we are born with them. For example, babies quickly start to understand language simply by hearing sounds because their minds are ready for it. It's a common misconception that we are blank slates at birth, and society and upbringing write everything on us. Pinker explains that this is not true. We come into the world with some basic ways of thinking and feeling. Culture and education shape us further, but they work with the foundation that's already there. A crucial idea Pinker emphasizes is that the mind has a purpose. It is designed to help us solve problems. In everyday life, we constantly face small challenges: what to eat, who to trust, where to go, how to explain our ideas. Our minds work tirelessly to answer these questions, mostly beneath our awareness. They help us navigate even the simplest tasks with incredible efficiency. Pinker wants to change how we think about the mind. Instead of seeing it as magical or overly simple, he suggests understanding it as a natural and powerful tool, something that evolved to help us survive. For example, walking, talking, recognizing faces, all these seem easy to us, but they are extremely complex processes for any machine or computer. While computers can do math fast, they cannot fully grasp humor, experience sadness, or fall in love like humans do. This highlights the unique and special nature of the human mind, not because it is perfect, but because it is perfectly suited for life in a complex world. It's also important to recognize that our minds are prone to making mistakes. We forget things, misunderstand others, and sometimes believe wrong ideas. But this does not mean our minds are broken. It simply reflects that they are meant to prioritize survival, not perfection. For instance, fear was crucial for our ancestors to avoid danger, but today, it can trigger anxiety even when there's no real threat. Our mental tools are ancient, and sometimes they don't fit perfectly with our modern world. Pinker encourages us to be kind to ourselves. Understanding our minds helps us understand ourselves better. Another important point in the book is about how the mind came to be. Pinker explains that it didn't appear suddenly. It was slowly built over many generations through a process called natural selection, the idea that the living things best adapted to their environment are more likely to survive and pass on their traits. The human mind is one of those traits that proved extremely helpful for survival. Long ago, humans lived in harsh environments faced with predators, hunger, and extreme weather. The strongest and smartest individuals were more likely to survive and reproduce. Over many generations, their mental abilities improved, helping humans find food, avoid danger, and work together efficiently. In summary, Pinker's message is that the human mind is a remarkable product of millions of years of evolution, designed not just for survival, but for life in a complex and unpredictable world. Understanding this helps us appreciate ourselves more, be kinder to our brains, and unlock the true potential of our mental tools. Because of this constant challenge to adapt and survive, the human mind gradually became more powerful and more intelligent over generations. The author highlights that our mind fundamentally functions as a problem-solving system. Every day, humans face numerous questions and obstacles such as locating food, assessing whether a place is safe, or determining if a person can be trusted. The mind works tirelessly, often without our conscious awareness, to provide quick and effective answers to these questions. If the answers the mind provides are incorrect, it can lead to dangerous consequences, even death. This high-stakes environment meant the mind had to constantly improve and become faster at processing information. The author presents a useful analogy. Our mind is like a complex machine composed of many parts, each with its own specific task. No single part is responsible for everything. Instead, different parts work in harmony to serve various functions. For example, one part helps us see the world, the shapes and colors around us. Another part helps us interpret sounds. Yet another segment is responsible for remembering faces we've seen before. Some parts trigger feelings of fear, and others evoke feelings of love or attachment. These parts communicate with each other by sending messages, allowing us to act quickly in response to any situation. This coordination is crucial because many people mistakenly think the mind is a single, unified entity. However, Pinker emphasizes that the mind is actually a collection of many systems working together seamlessly. Why? A vivid example of this is how we respond instinctively when seeing a snake. Many reactions occur automatically and almost simultaneously. Our eyes detect the shape, our memory recalls danger, our body responds with fear, and our legs might involuntarily want to move away, all happening in a fraction of a second. This rapid, automatic response is designed for speed, which was vital for survival in ancient times. Quick reactions could mean the difference between life and death. Interestingly, Pinker points out that our minds were shaped in an era vastly different from today's world. While we now spend much of our time using phones, sitting in offices, reading, or watching screens, our mental architecture was formed during a time when humans were primarily hunters and gatherers, constantly making split-second decisions to avoid predators or find food. This evolutionary background explains why many of our feelings and behaviors today can seem out of place or overly intense. For instance, emotions like worry and stress, which once helped us stay alert to threats, now sometimes cause us unnecessary anxiety or frustration. Fear is a prime example. It was an essential tool for avoiding danger. However, nowadays, fear can be triggered by things that pose no real threat, like a loud noise, a bad news message, or even negative thoughts about the future. Our ancient fear responses are so fast and automatic that they often react even when the danger isn't real. This reactive system isn't a mistake, it's just working as it was designed, based on a very old blueprint. The author also discusses the roles of pleasure and pain to powerful signals guiding our behavior. Pain tells us when something is harmful, encouraging us to stop or withdraw, while pleasure signals rewards for behaviors that benefit us, like eating or socializing. For example, eating feels good because nourishment is essential for survival, and social bonds are reinforced because humans are social creatures who thrive together. Learning itself can also be pleasurable, because acquiring new knowledge improves our chances of survival. These feelings influence our decisions because most of us don't rely solely on cold logic. Instead, we often follow our feelings, trusting emotions to guide us, whether we realize it or not. This is a natural and human trait, not a weakness. Emotions are deeply ingrained in our mental functioning and serve as vital tools for quick, adaptive responses. Another key idea Pinker emphasizes is that our capacity for learning isn't uniform across all subjects. Our brains find some types of learning easy, such as picking up language, recognizing faces, or understanding social rules, because these skills were crucial for survival in ancestral environments. Conversely, tasks like advanced mathematics or complex logical reasoning are much harder, not because we lack intelligence, but because these skills weren't as vital for survival in early human history. Therefore, when learning something feels difficult, it simply reflects the fact that our minds were shaped by the needs of ancient life. This insight is especially relevant for language learners, such as those learning English. It reassures us that our difficulty isn't due to being bad at learning, but because the brain was built for different activities. With time, exposure, and patience, the brain's natural ability to learn language will come through. Furthermore, Pinker explains that intelligence isn't a single, simple trait. Instead, humans possess multiple types of intelligence, such as understanding people precisely, perceiving space, mastering words, or working skillfully with tools. Each person tends to be stronger in some areas and weaker in others, which is perfectly normal. However, the mind isn't perfect. It can be confused, hold false beliefs, or become trapped in harmful habits. This often happens because the mind relies on shortcuts, mental tricks that save time and effort. While these shortcuts generally help, they can sometimes lead us astray. For instance, we might trust someone simply because they look friendly, even though appearance can be misleading. Or we might fear something based on a story or rumor rather than real danger. These mental shortcuts were once essential for fast survival decisions, but today, they can cause errors. Finally, Pinker touches on emotions, which many people mistakenly see as obstacles to clear thinking. Instead, he argues that emotions are incredibly important tools. They exist for a reason, to help us act swiftly and make decisions in complex situations. Emotions like fear, anger, love, and joy each have specific functions. Fear, for example, signals danger and prepares our body to escape or fight. Anger motivates us to defend ourselves, while love connects us to others, fostering social bonds. Joy encourages us to repeat actions that are beneficial. Rather than opposing rational thought, emotions work hand in hand with our thinking processes. When making choices, small or large, our feelings are involved, and often guide us more quickly than pure logic. Without emotions, many people would struggle to make decisions, even basic ones, because they lack the necessary emotional signals. In conclusion, this simplified overview has touched on the core ideas of Pinker's fascinating book. The question it raises, how does the mind actually work, is complex but vital to understanding ourselves better. The insights show that our minds are extraordinary products of evolution, built for speed and survival, influenced by a variety of systems that work together. They can sometimes deceive us or lead us astray, but they also contain powerful tools for learning, connection, and growth. Remember, learning a language like English isn't about being perfect from the start. Your mind is already capable of understanding and acquiring new skills. It just needs time, patience, and repeated practice. Each step you take helps you unlock more of your natural potential. Therefore, keep listening, keep practicing, and be kind to yourself. Your brain is already on your side. Trust in its ability to grow. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take a deep breath, enjoy the journey, and stay curious.